we are going to talk about the greatest what ifs in sports history. Now, this is, according to us, our opinion, okay? Things that happen in sports that if you went and changed the outcome of that, or it could go either way. You could change it to actually happen, or you could change it from happening. That it would completely change either a franchise or the sport or the player or something. We're going to give three apiece. Okay. We're going to get three apiece. I am going to start. And this, I think, is by far the biggest what if. I mean, by far. I mean, there's two of them that I have in mind. And guys might steal one of them, but this one by far, in my opinion. What if there had been no color barriers in sports?
That was one of my top three that I put on there. You would have a different record books in every single sport.
Every single sport, because the color barrier thing is really prevalent in Major League Baseball. Right? But think about it, because if it didn't happen in baseball, it would have happened in other sports. Would have caught right on board, because back then, believe it or not, baseball in America, that's why it's called America's pastime. The rise of baseball is what really created the rise of sports. Then obviously football took over and has ran with it, right? But baseball was always had the eyes on it, right? If you take away the color barriers, you're talking about not only on all sports, but you're talking about, we're going to get to see Josh Gibson, who they say might have been the greatest power hitter in the history of baseball, but he only played in the Negro Leagues because of a color barrier.
Well,
right?
Are some of these all-time baseball players, or are they considered all-time baseball players if they had to play with the Latinos, the blacks, and the Asian players and stuff like that back then?
No, they're not.
No,
they're not.
I agree with you. I don't think they do. Yes, I agree with you.
They don't have a spot.
Like, that's what I say. Like, I mean, I know we've had this discussion, but it's like, for me, sometimes it's hard to think that, okay, they were the best there is. Well, okay, some of these players that are considered the best there is never had to play against anybody of minority.
Yeah.
And
yep.
It's,
I mean, you're not, it would change the landscape of sports. I mean, forever. I mean, obviously, like, when you're talking about the record books and all that, I mean, you may not even be talking about some of the greatest that you're talking about now today. Like Ben said, that you don't have a spot. They never got a shot. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no telling.
It would have accelerated a lot of things as far as like civil rights progress in sports and stuff, and really reshaped what we know as sports in America. So that was my absolute number one, no doubt in my mind. Because, I mean, think about the movies, the books, everything we've talked about. They have a Negro League museum, baseball league museum in Kansas City. I mean,
not too far from us.
Just everything about it. You take away the color barrier and bam, sports is instantly changed forever. That's my number one. Who wants to go second?
I'll go second.
Okay.
What if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt?
Oh, yes. I can't wait for this one.
Comes off of what we just talked about with Bill Belichick, okay? If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, is there even a conversation for Bill Belichick being in the Hall of Fame? Do they, like, there's so many what ifs with the Patriots that I could tie in that if those things change, it takes away 4 of their Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, do they ever even go on to win one? Does Tom Brady, is he a career backup like a Chase Daniels and a Gunnar Minshew and stuff like that? Does Bill Belichick get in the Hall of Fame? That injury, they should be sending Mo Johnson a check, or Mo Jones a check every year for lighting up Drew Bledsoe and causing that changed the whole trajectory of Drew Bledsoe's career, because he ended up going on to Dallas and Buffalo. But it was franchise altering. NFL altering for the Patriots and for the NFL history.
Yeah.
John, I'm gonna let you give your commentary here because I've got some commentary. Go ahead.
Well, it's on this. I mean, I've looked at this one. This was one that I was going to put on the list, but I thought it was going to be one of the two that you guys, one of you two would have on the list. But I did look into that because, I mean, obviously I've been an anti-Brady fan for years, but does he ever, like Mosby says, does he ever play? Does Brady, ever get a chance? Does Belichick, does he last? As long as he did in New England. I mean, you could go all kinds of different ways with it, with Bledsoe getting hurt. And you might be sitting here and, like Mosby said, do they even win one championship? Do they ever win at all? So there's just so much with this one that could change the whole outlook and the whole 10 to 20 years of football.
Would say Brady doesn't play and Bledsoe doesn't get him over the top. The Rams got 2 Super Bowls. Ben's Carolina Panthers got a Super Bowl. The Eagles win one way before they win one. I mean, so I mean, there's a whole. It's a lot of changes. I mean,
yeah. No, I'll answer it for you. No, the Patriots don't win as many. They might win one or two. I mean, they might win one because their franchise is good, right? And Drew Bledsoe wasn't no scrub. They were a good team.
No.
Which brings me to Tom Brady might not have even had. I mean, he wasn't going to get a shot until Drew Bledsoe went down. Like that's the thing, misconception people keep saying was Tom Brady was instantly just this elite, awesome, amazing player. His defenses carried him for the first 3 Super Bowls. You cannot even argue against that. They carried him. I mean, they were averaging 17 points per game with his first Super Bowl, like offensively, I think, something like that. They carried him to those Super Bowls, and then he turned it on in 2007. Okay, that's when he really found out. But if he never got to 2007, which in this case he wouldn't have, because they never would have given him a shot. Because why? He was drafted in the 6th round, so he was drafted to be a backup. He was never drafted to be a starter ever.
Yeah.
He got thrown in there, and you can't even say that he didn't have some luck on his side in that season. A lot of luck on his side on this season to get that Super Bowl.
There's another what if in there.
That's why I'm not going to say it.
That happened in the same season. That wouldn't even be talked about if he wasn't the quarterback.
So that's why I'm saying that's why I have such a animosity versus Tom Brady, because now he has the stats and everything to back it up. But if it's all about opportunity in the NFL. I always say this: you have to have the right position, the spot, and opportunity. That's why that's why I love Peyton Manning so much. He got drafted to a garbage Colts team, was terrible in his first year, like set the record for rookie interceptions. He still
28 or 23.
Because Eli still brings it up.
Yeah, his brother brings it up anytime he can.
But then he turned that Colts team around, and they became one of the top in the AFC year in and year out. Patriots were already good. That's why I have this fired up about Tom Brady. But yes, very good when Drew Bledsoe, if he didn't get hurt, number 2, that would be a massive, massive what if. I love it.
I think it's the biggest what if in NFL history.
I mean, I can't. Well, we'll get through them all, and then we'll come back to that because I have a hard time disagreeing with you. I can't think of one right now. Okay, John.
What if Albert Pujols don't sign with the Angels? He stays with the Cardinals.
I wouldn't have freaked out that day.
Me neither.
Ben would have been going nuts.
How many more home runs does he have?
Well, my question to ask you on that what if is if they sign him to that massive contract, are they, because they won a couple after Pujols was gone, correct?
No, we haven't won one since Pujols' last year.
Never mind. Yeah. So then that goes against. So no, I think the Cardinals probably win at least one more if he's still on the Cardinals, because they made it to one, correct? And lost.
2000,
and lost to the Red Sox. Okay, well, you can't tell me in some of those other years that they made a run if you don't have Pujols that you're not making that run all the way.
Yeah. No, and it's one of those things. I mean, obviously, you could look at it either which way because you go from having the seasons that he was having there in St. Louis, 30 home runs, average, 300 average every year, 100 RBIs, just absolutely killing it, MVP caliber. And then he goes to the Angels. It's like he forgot how to hit a baseball. He couldn't stay healthy. There was just several things that just started unraveling. And then, it was like he gets back to St. Louis, and at first he's hit and miss coming off the bench and popping a home run here and there. And then they make him, basically put him in the everyday lineup, and it goes and absolutely does what everybody thought that he couldn't do. And I had several conversations with Ben during that time about him getting to 700. He's like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to get there. I just don't see a way.
He went bonkers
in the second half.
Well, does it change the trajectory of the Angels, or they spend that money more spread out?
I don't think so, because the Angels are idiots. I apologize to the Angel fans, but I don't understand sometimes.
They don't know how to spend the money.
Yeah, they can spend it.
They're like someone that inherits a lot of money and okay, and they have no problem spending it, but it's what they're spending it on.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, did you pay off your mortgage? Oh, no, but I bought 5 cars.
They're frustrated.
Look at all those cars.
I drive a Bentley and a Lambo.
I
have nowhere to put them, though.
Yeah. So, I definitely freaked out during that signing. I was borderline depressed. But you know what? Counter argument to that, though, John. I don't know. Maybe we win another one. Maybe we win that one against the Red Sox. But he was already in a decline a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he dealt with a bunch of, I think it was foot injuries and all that.
Plantar fasciitis.
So, let me tell you, that sucks too. So I'm not so sure that it would have really been, but I think we might have beat the Red Sox. I don't know. David Ortiz really ate our lunch. John, man, he was so frustrated. He got off there, didn't he? So yes,
I don't know what's going on, bro.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
Anyway, that is a good one though, because that would have made me way happier, even though his contract at the time was $240 million over 10 years. And that was crazy amount back then. I think our best offer was, it was like 200 over 9. I think was the offer that we gave, something like that.
Yeah, it was something right around there.
So we would have been at the time, been like, ooh, that's a bunch of money. So,
for sure. But at the time, boys, when you're looking at it, he was worth it to us.
The biggest, I'm glad John didn't steal it, because great what if, not even near the impact, the biggest what if in MLB history. That's not even near the biggest what if, because the biggest what if, and you could almost argue it was bigger than color barrier, but not quite. What if the Boston Red Sox hadn't sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees?
That was second on my list. Yeah. No.
Back in 1919.
The Yankees aren't what
no curse of the Bambino.
And the Yankees don't have the most World Series titles.
You don't think so?
No.
Might be the Red Sox.
Could be the Red Sox.
Very well could be.
Red Sox win a couple of those with Babe Ruth. Do some of those players, do they want to be Red Sox instead of Yankees? Because Babe Ruth is kind of that trade to the Yankees, and him being dominant, winning and hitting the long ball, it made being a Yankee sexy. I want to go be a Yankee. I want to be the best. I want to be a Yankee. Well, if he's not with the Yankees and he's with the Red Sox, do they say, I want to go be a Red Sox? I want to go to Boston.
Well, you got to think Boston wins some World Series titles in the 20s with Ruth, because he was absolutely in his prime. They don't get to pair up Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig together.
No.
Which was just dynamic. And
nasty.
I'll be honest, here's what's crazy to even say. You could argue that Lou Gehrig was a better hitter than Babe Ruth if you go look at the stats. That's how good Lou Gehrig was.
Yeah, he was a stud.
It was just, and they protected each other too. That's the other thing that you don't think about. So that right there started off the first super franchise in sports history. And Yankees turned into just this incredible, like you said, it created a brand is what it did.
Yes.
And just New York exploded, and that's why the Yankees are what they are now. Without that sale, we might be talking about the Red Sox as being that. So that is my number 4. What if? I think it's the biggest in MLB history. Mosby, your turn.
My what if, and I wrote a paper about this my senior year of college and got a high praise for it, is, and there's a movie made off of it that goes behind the deal. What if Nike is not desperate to get an NBA game and they make that deal with Jordan? Is Jordan what he is? I argue that Nike made Jordan is just as much successful as Jordan made itself, because if Nike doesn't make that shoe deal and create the Jordan brand and the Air Jordans or whatever and give him all those royalties and stuff like that, is Jordan's name as big as what it is?
That's very good. What do you think, John?
Man, it's one of those that you could look at it both ways, because I mean, obviously, Michael's mom, I mean, she facilitated that whole deal. Probably at the time, one of the smartest women, agent, whatever you want to call her at that point, that there was, because I mean, that was just something that you'd never heard of. Yeah, you're going to get a shoe deal. Absolutely. But hey, no, it's not just any shoe deal. It's got my son's name on it. And he gets X amount percentage over the lifetime of the shoe on every shoe sold. They're sitting there going, no way, that's not even a thing.
Well, you don't got the Air Jordans, you don't got the current
right.
Jordan
That's
brand.
what I was fixing to say. Is Nike still is Nike what Nike is today? Like you said,
no,
is Jordan what Jordan is today? I mean, because I'm just telling you, you could say Nike made Jordan, Jordan made Nike, but I'm almost positive that, I mean, you could go either which way, and there's not really an argument that's going to sway it.
Jordan, I think, was still been a big player, a great player, but would his name have been at the top?
It is. Yeah.
Without Nike, and I don't think it would. I don't think it would be. And I don't think Nike would be what it is without Jordan. They took such a risk, and the Solman and Sonny Picario took such a big risk on this, and I probably even caught Phil Knight off guard with, hey, we're making this deal. Well, it paid off that he was a great player. But if Nike wasn't desperate to get in the shoe game, to get in the basketball shoe game and let the Puma and Reebok, whatever it was at that time, like, Jordan's name ain't as big as it is, and Nike's name ain't as big as it is.
Yeah, I mean, and Nike is transcended with the word sports, So it's definitely not as big. It's basically like an ASICS. I mean, because
they were a running company.
That's all they wanted.
Yes,
that's all he wanted.
Yes,
because that's what Phil was, and then once they got in, and that's when they exploded to other sports. But I mean, just being able to walk around that Nike campus, you see, just it's full of sports. I mean, it's just all sports. It's a sports fan's dream come true to go to that Nike campus, and that was all created by Jordan. No Jordan, none of that.
No.
Yep.
So that's a humongous what if. That's very, very good. John.
I'm glad he asked this one because I'm playing right off of it with my second one. What if the Trailblazers drafted Michael Jordan?
Also on top of that, John, Kevin Durant over Greg Odom.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can go either which way.
Because that was on my list. Yep, the Blazers draft. Yep.
What if Blazers drafted Jordan? Is Jordan
over
what
Sam
Jordan
Bowie?
is? Yeah. Sam Bowie was supposed to be the next big thing. Well, not the case.
Which does take me to the point of when they go to these drafts, I always tend to side with, and I do this in fantasy too, I always tend to side with talent over position necessity.
Yeah.
And they obviously drafted Bowie because they needed a center.
I understand why they drafted Bowie, because they had Clyde Drexler at the time.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But
pair him with Jordan and roll on.
But that goes with, you just said, what if Portland drafted Jordan? Trailblazers have multiple
Oh, man.
championships with
Oh
those
yeah,
teams.
that's what I'm saying. You pair the best player with one of the best players. You know what I mean? You could be talking about the Trailblazers being one of the greatest teams of all time.
Now, I don't know who Drexler, what his affiliate was as far as if he was a Converse guy or if he was a whatever. But does that affect Nike coming and signing Jordan if he's in Portland and they're in Oregon, but he has Drexler, who at the time was a bigger name?
Yeah,
Could very well.
I mean that there you go. That could change Nike too.
yeah.
That's a good what if.
Well,
Yeah.
that also on their draft, if they draft Kevin Durant over Greg Oden,
Yeah.
that changes the trajectory of the Thunder.
So I'm just looking here to answer your question. Clyde Drexler primarily wore sneakers from Kangaroos, never heard of it, Avia, AVIA, and Reebok during his professional career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even heard of two of those.
All right. I'm going to go on, and this one will affect every single sport once again, but it happened in Major League Baseball. What if Kurt Flood
You just took my net last one.
didn't refuse a trade and sue MLB? Because back then, when you were on a team, you were on a team. There wasn't free agency. What if that hadn't happened and they would have continued on the way they did? That would mean no free agency. It means players would remain tied to team. Now, it could have happened years later, right? But it was suppressed salaries, limited player movement, and stunted the competitiveness of all the leagues. Because look at free agency now. I mean, it's bonkers, and that's how teams get better quickly. Are they able to turn around a franchise? If Kurt Flood wouldn't have did what he did back in 1969, what would the league look like now? What would the league's sports look like right now?
It would
definitely be different.
Be a different landscape. I think you would have seen a lot. I mean, I don't think this championship would have been spread out among teams. I think you would have seen a lot more dynasties and stuff like that because they had the rights to their players. They would have kept their players. If you would have drafted well and you had 4 superstars, well, you didn't have to worry about the big contracts coming up. You could keep them all. Hey, we own your rights. We don't need you. I mean, you're not going nowhere. I mean,
huge, boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mosby.
Mine, kind of off the wall. What if the Falcons don't trade Brett Favre?
Oh, wow.
Does the Falcons have, because I think around this time they had Deion Sanders, Andre Rison in those early 90s. Do they get a couple Super Bowls? Do they have a Super Bowl? And does Green Bay even make that run in the 90s or whatever? Does Brett Favre turn into the player that he is if he stays in Atlanta? I mean, he was drafted by Atlanta. Ron Wolf got the GM job the next year in Green Bay, traded a first-round pick, got him. What if that trade never happens? He's in Atlanta. He's with Deion Sanders, Andre Rison. Maybe they keep Deion. Maybe they keep Andre Rison. Maybe they make a little bit of a run. Maybe the Cowboys don't win a couple of those in that time period. What if maybe the Niners don't win that one? I mean, because there for a while it was an NFC dominant winning. Maybe Atlanta is a power player in those mid 90s, and they steal a couple. I mean,
yeah,
yep,
that's a good one.
No,
that's definitely what I didn't think about. But
yeah,
did you watch his documentary?
I have not yet.
It's okay. But you want to talk about a dude that did not care if he threw 5 interceptions in a game.
No,
that dude was
everywhere.
Was exciting. And one of my favorite games ever watched, and still I think is one of the best performances in NFL history, is
His
the
dad.
Monday night football game after his dad died.
Powerful.
I'm just telling you, it gave me, and you just, I mean, reminded me, and thinking about it just gave me goosebumps. But man, that was one of the best games
Powerful.
that you could watch. Yeah.
Yep. Was John, finish this up right here. Number 9.
Well, so obviously, I have a couple here, but I'm going to go with the one. What if Barry Sanders doesn't retire so soon?
The only thing I see different is he holds the record for most rushing yards.
100%.
Because
But
I don't think the team success changes any because they were
Nope.
so.
And the only reason why I asked it, because I had a couple different ones I could have went with. And, I mean, obviously there are a couple about the Dallas Cowboys or whatever, but I mean, Barry Sanders obviously retiring early keeps Emmitt Smith from being the all-time leading rusher. And I've said it for years. I mean, obviously Emmitt did benefit from being behind one of the best offensive lines of all time. And on one of the most explosive offenses at that point. So if you were hypothetical, you put Barry behind that line, Barry's rushing for 3,000 yards every season. I don't give a crap. He was running for 2,000 yards and having to make a cut before he even got the handoff from the quarterback, with the Lions. So,
He's so good.
I mean, he's the greatest to ever do it for a reason.
Yeah. And I just to have a top 10 to make it nice and pretty, I'm gonna go ahead and add this one right here. And we don't talk about this at all because we're not experts on this. But what if Wayne Gretzky wasn't traded to the Los Angeles Kings? Now, what would this have done for hockey? Well, it helped American hockey become more popular and get more eyeballs on it. But if he wouldn't have got traded for Edmonton, they would have won so many more championships. I mean, and it would have stayed in Canada more.
Yeah.
The popularity of it. So
I tell you, my dad was one of the biggest Wayne Gretzky fans. And to this day, I still really don't know a whole lot about hockey, but I watched hockey with my dad just because my dad was watching it, and he was a Gretzky nut. He knew about the sport. He watched it all the time. I didn't know anything, but yeah, that was a big deal.
Yep. So there you have it. There's our top 10 experts, very little top 10 greatest what ifs in sports.